Oh, hi. I didn't see you come in. I was just covering up my Shakespeare bobblehead with the American flag because welcome to American literature, everybody. My name is Mark Nakamus. I'm your instructor for this class, and I'm really excited not only to be, teaching everyone, but to be part of our experience of encountering American literature. Oftentimes in college studies, students will read, like, for example, from the works of Shakespeare, Chaucer, Milton, world literature, and we overlook American literature. But American literature, this is our experience as Americans being recorded in literature. Just one of the many reasons why I love to read is that when we read literature, we can find in it not only the different elements of literature like symbolism, imagery, personification, so on and so forth, but by studying literature, we get to have a glimpse into what it was like to be alive at the time in which that work was written. So it has elements of history. And then we start to become aware of how authors, during that time that the work was composed, we get to understand their relationship with God. We get to uncover different philosophies which were important during the time, as well as psychologies, sociologies, right? How people are thinking and interacting with each other, as well as the dominant thematic characteristics which we can go through and piece together and that form different literary movements. So at this first half of American literature, we're going to start with the Puritans, which was during the Renaissance. And Puritanism in America, the Renaissance experience in America, is very different than it was in the continent of Europe. Then we're going to move into the Enlightenment, which is federalism. This is the formation of the 13 colonies becoming a nation. And then we'll move into Romanticism in America. So those are the three different movements that we'll be encountering. And one thing that I'll be repeating is that as we move from one literary movement to another, it's not like closing a book and then opening up a new one. There's a lot of overlap with these different periods. So in other words, the Renaissance just didn't end one day and the Enlightenment began the next. There's some overlap. So that's another thing to keep in mind as we go through and we start to pick up different historical parts for these selected works. Now, I'm fully aware that in the 21st century, when students encounter something for the first time, even before reading it, many students today will Google it and then go to some of these different websites like sparknotes.com or eNotes.com. There's lots of different websites out there. Now, go ahead and put this out. Please avoid doing that. When you encounter a text, one of the most important things is what you bring to that text. In other words, when you sit down and you have a document, you have your own reaction to that. And it's important not to let that reaction be tainted by something on the internet. All the internet is, it's information. What we're doing, what we're concerned with is building knowledge. And there's a huge gap between information and knowledge. You might be saying, well, hey, Mr. K, what's an example of the gap between information and knowledge? For instance, right, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That's information, right? Just an equation, right? A formula, right? But the knowledge is that how to apply that to determine the hypotenuse of a triangle, or the right triangle, right? So difference between information and knowledge. We're not interested in information. We're interested in building knowledge. So please Avoid just jumping into the internet. Bring yourself to the text. Respond to it. Also, when you're doing this, I always encourage people to take copious notes. Print out the PowerPoints when you're watching the lectures or you're engaged in discussions. Take notes, print screens. Reason being, because once 1 week is completed, that week will be hidden from view. It will be gone, and it won't come back. Just like if you take a face-to-face class, it's impossible in a face-to-face class to step into a time machine and travel back to what happened a week before and to hit the play button. It's not going to happen. So please print PowerPoints, take notes, print screens, be an active participant in the class. Also, if you've taken a previous online class before, which is great, please remember that not all online classes are the same. For instance, here in American Literature 1, all work for a week, right? Once a week begins and opens, it's going to close. And it's going to close Friday at noon. Now, not too many people know that 12 p.m. is noon. It is not midnight. So we'll be running like a normal week, just like a regular class. Then what I'll do during the weekends is I will grade, prepare, upload, make sure the new content, everything is ready. And that'll open generally Sunday noon, Sunday afternoon. And then you'll have that full week to go through and get everything done. So please remember, Friday noon, 12 p.m. is noon. Then, please, if you ever have a personal question, say for example, dealing with a specific grade, please don't post that to a community question and answer form, because grades, that's privileged information. Instead, please send me a message through our course management system or through the campus email. And please remember to use your NETC student email account to send me email. Reason being is that many folks have very creative email addresses, and those really creative email addresses don't make it past the college firewall. Generally, the personal emails that do make it through the college firewall would be something as simple as like marknakamus@gmail.com. For some reason, those obvious identification emails make it through, but those really crazy personal ones that a lot of folks have get hit by the firewall, and I don't get them. Also, I welcome everyone to please feel free to drop by and talk to me about anything that you'd like to here in my office, or give me a call during office hours. Please be aware that if you call and leave a voicemail, it's going to be a while before I get done with classes and then, have a chance to return the call, especially if you call and leave me a voicemail message in the afternoon, because then I'll have to get to college the next day and get done teaching classes before I have a chance to call. So the best way to get in touch with me is electronically, either through the course management system or through email. So I hope everybody's still excited about encountering American literature. So be well, do good work, and keep in touch.